High in Russia's Ural mountains, the landscape is beautiful yet unforgiving. In 1959, it became the setting for one of history's most chilling unsolved mysteries, the Dyatlov Pass incident. 10 young hikers from the Ural Polytechnic Institute prepared to conquer a remote peak called Mount Otertan. None of them knew that only one would return alive.
You're watching True Crime Archives, real mysteries in just minutes. Let's dive into the case.
The expedition was led by Igor Dyatlov, a confident engineering student. His team included some of the university's best skiers and mountaineers. They traveled by train into the deep Russian wilderness, their spirits high as they sang songs and wrote in their journals. They pitched tents in the bitter cold, cooked meals over small stoves, and kept diaries filled with stories of laughter and ambition. But one member, Yuri Yudin, became sick and turned back. His decision saved his life. He would be the only survivor of the expedition. The others pressed on toward their destination, braving freezing winds and whiteout conditions that made progress slow and exhausting. On February 1st, they pitched their final camp on the slopes of a peak the local Mansi people ominously called Kholat Sahal, the Mountain of the Dead. When they failed to return, rescue teams were sent out. What they found was a scene of terror frozen in time. The hiker's tent was discovered cut open from the inside. Belongings, warm clothes, and boots were left behind as if they had fled in a panic. Investigators saw footprints leading away from the tent. Some were barefoot, others wore only socks. No one understood why they had run into the freezing night. The first 2 bodies were found near a burned-out fire. They wore little clothing, as if they had fled without time to dress. The tree above them showed signs of a desperate climb. Broken branches suggested they may have tried to escape something unseen. 3 more hikers were found between the tent and the tree. It looked as though they had tried to crawl back, but never made it. Months later, the last 4 hikers were discovered in a ravine. Their condition shocked investigators even more than the first bodies. 2 had fractured skulls. Another had crushed ribs so severe, doctors compared the force to a car crash. One victim was missing her eyes. Another had her tongue torn out. No one could explain how this had happened. Strangely, none of the bodies showed signs of a struggle. It was as if a mysterious force had inflicted the injuries. The Soviet investigation ruled that the hikers had died from a compelling natural force. But what force could cause such chaos? The case was quickly closed, fueling rumors of a cover-up. Families were left with grief and unanswered questions. Some suspected an avalanche, but the slope was too shallow and no evidence of one was ever found. Others believed sudden hurricane-like winds drove the hikers into the night, but this didn't explain the brutal injuries. Some claimed secret Soviet weapons tests were to blame. Witnesses reported strange glowing lights in the sky around that time. A few bodies even showed traces of radiation on their clothes, raising suspicions of something far stranger. Alien theories emerged. Had the hikers witnessed something not of this earth? Others turned to myths. Rumors spread of a Yeti attack, though no evidence supported it. Newspapers fed the frenzy. Each theory was more dramatic than the last, but none explained all the facts. Igor Dyatlov, the leader, was remembered as determined and strong. He had earned the respect of his peers. Zina Kolmogorova, full of energy and optimism, dreamed of graduating and building a future. Ludmila Dubinina, who would suffer the most horrific injuries, was described by friends as fearless and outspoken. Rustem Slobodin, an experienced athlete, had a fractured skull when found. The cause remains unknown. 9 young lives cut short in the prime of their youth. Each story ended in tragedy that night. The Dyatlov Pass remains eerily silent, as if still guarding its secret. Watches stopped at different hours, leaving no clear timeline of events. The mystery is haunting. Why would trained hikers flee into darkness without proper clothing? With no answers, the Soviets closed the case. It remained hidden for decades. Families demanded truth, but only met silence. Rumors grew stronger as time passed. The press turned the incident into a legend. Theories spread across the globe. The mountain today is unchanged. Visitors describe a heavy feeling, as though history lingers there. The rescuers never forgot what they saw. Some described the scene as the most disturbing of their lives. Despite countless expeditions and studies, the truth remains elusive. The hikers' last diary entries show nothing unusual. Whatever happened, it struck suddenly. Some wondered if the local Mansi tribe was involved, but no evidence supported this theory. The 9 hikers walked into history and into a mystery we may never solve. The mountains remain cold, silent, and indifferent to human tragedy. The case has haunted investigators for more than 60 years, inspiring endless debate. What do you think happened that night on the Mountain of the Dead? Leave your theory in the comments. This was the story of the Dyatlov Pass incident, a mystery still frozen in time.